ever done this type of live stream. And hey, Jonathan, just curious, dumb question, and I feel like an old ignorant person. What exactly am I supposed to do?
I think you're going to be answering questions.
The problem is I don't see any questions. Is there a...
Let me find out.
Let's see. Oh, there's some. Okay, I see lots of comments. People saying yay. So I might be real, but how to tell if we're living in a simulation? There's so much to unpack in that question. How to tell if we're living in a simulation? You can't. That's by definition like a complicated, sophisticated simulation. You'll never know if it's actually a simulation. So I think it's safe to assume that we are in fact living in some sort of holographic simulation. So, by the way, does it seem to be working?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So, the reason for doing this, apart from the fact that I'm desperately trying to be modern, is we're launching the new video for Why Does My Heart Feel So Bad in approximately 12 or 13 minutes. And the video's done with Steve Cutts and I, and because the original Why Does My Heart Feel So Bad video featured my little cartoon character, aka the little idiot, named after me because I'm little and not very smart. So this new video is a reversion of the original video, looking at a lot of the issues that are relevant today. And I very presumptuously think it's the best music video that I've ever made or have had made for me, because Steve Cutts is so remarkable. And you'll see it in about 13 minutes, or 12 minutes or 11 minutes. Okay, so let's see. Are there any... I can't believe I'm actually going to see live an artist I'm listening to since I'm 10 and living 5,000 kilometers from my home. What a nice time to be alive, except for ice. Yeah, it's a great time to be alive as long as we don't pay attention to climate change and attacks on democracy, and deforestation and chemical spills near Sri Lanka and pandemics. But apart from those things, it is a great time to be alive. You're right. So, are there any... See, the little comments just keep disappearing. Carla Sidholm, what prompted you to do Reprise? Well, first and foremost, I just love the idea of working in a way that I hadn't worked before. Because usually when I work on music, it's just me by myself in my studio, and making Reprise, you know, as if you've heard it, you know, there's an orchestra, there's string quartets, there's percussionists, drummers, conductors, gospel choir, and all the guest vocalists. So it was such a collaborative effort, which is just so different than how I normally work. But also, the main goal of making music is to communicate emotion. And I just love the way that acoustic instruments and unprocessed voices and orchestras can communicate both big, grand emotion, but also very sort of vulnerable emotion. Let's see. Concerts. Well, as you know, the pandemic has kind of prevented any sort of travel or touring. Maybe at some point, probably honestly till about 2022. By the way, 2022, I mean, 2000 still sounds like the future to me. I can't believe that we're 22 years almost past 2000. So in 2022, I'm hoping to play concerts somewhere, somehow. So probably nothing for the remainder of 2021. Okay, question. Did you notice an electrical noise in iTunes? I did not notice anything. I mean, the record, and I apologize if there's a strange electrical noise, because the record was recorded quite well and then mixed quite well. So I wonder, I wonder what that issue might be. I will look into it. Let's see. Love from Northern Ireland. Hi, Northern Ireland. Argentina. Russia. Russia. Oh, here's a question. How's bagel? Bagel is great. So basically, I was introduced to Bagel the tiny dog at the beginning of the pandemic, and I realized early on that Bagel is the greatest living creature on the planet. It's possible that in the past there have been greater creatures than Bagel, but Bagel is, of the trillions and trillions of creatures on the planet, there is no being or creature better than Bagel. So Bagel is, the greatest living being, and I work on a lot of different things, but mainly what I'm focused on is honoring and revering the cult of Bagel. And if you look at my social media, it'll be pretty clear that Bagel is pretty much the entire reason for my existence. Let's see. Favorite keyboard synth in my studio. Well, the irony there is my favorite keyboard and my favorite synth is the first keyboard and synth I ever bought. It's a Korg micro preset, and it's analog, monophonic. It doesn't have MIDI. It doesn't have any type of sync capacity. If you watch the live ambient videos I made, I use the Korg micro preset constantly. And it's just sort of ironic that I bought it when I was, 19 years old, and I bought it secondhand, and it was maybe $30. Fast forward many, many, many years, and it's still my favorite keyboard, my favorite synth. Let's see what else we got here. Korg keyboards rock. I agree. Let's see. Oh, what do I eat? I'm looking at another question. What do I eat to be a healthy vegan? Well, because there have been times in my life when I was a junk food vegan, because I've been a vegan now for 34 years. You can see that. So especially before I got sober, I was eating a lot of garbage. And now what I eat is, and I'll try and keep it brief because what I eat might be interesting to me, but maybe not to everybody. So in the morning, I have a smoothie that is bananas, mixed berries, cherries, but also a combination of like broccoli, fresh turmeric, red chard, kale, and DHA, vegan DHA oil. And that's breakfast. And then throughout the rest of the day, I just eat whole organic foods, whether it's brown rice with black beans and guacamole, whether it's kimchi pasta with walnuts. But I tend to eat organic whole foods. Hold on, there's another question. What artists most influenced my music? I can't think of anyone who's influenced me more than David Bowie and Brian Eno. Brian Eno especially, and I've never met Brian Eno, and I kind of don't want to meet him because he was such an inspiration for me. Like, I would just be afraid if I meet him, like, what if he's mean to me? And what if I get him on a bad day and he's kind of an asshole to me? So Brian Eno, from his work with Roxy Music, to producing Devo, to producing the Talking Heads, to the album My Life in the Bush of Ghosts, he also sort of single-handedly invented ambient music. So for sure, Brian Eno. What was it like working with Steve Cutts on the video? Well, if you haven't seen Steve Cutts' other videos, the one that I was first introduced to is called Man. And it's the greatest video I've ever seen. It doesn't take a very kind view of our species. Ooh, it just got brighter. Why is that? So Steve Cutts, the video Man, I saw that, and then I reached out to him, I think, through social media or Twitter, and then we made a video together for Are You Lost in the World Like Me? And then we made a video together for In This Cold Place. And this new one, I mean, when you work with someone as talented and hardworking as Steve Cutts, a lot of times I make a few suggestions and then I sit back and let him do what he's best at doing. Um, Hello from Hereford, UK, home of cider. As a sober person, sadly, I can't drink cider, or at least the alcoholic kind. Um, how long do you see yourself continuing to create music? I mean, I've been making music since I was 8 or 9 years old, and I imagine hopefully I'll be working on music for the rest of my life, however long that might be. I don't know if anyone will listen to the music I make. You know, I could see getting to a point where, you know, I disappear into obscurity and just make music that no one ever hears. But even if that's the case, I'd still be making music. Which dog is barking? So that's my neighbor Stephanie, and Stephanie has they're these giant dogs. I don't know what type of dogs they are. One of them is quite old and I think has the dog version of Alzheimer's. And so unfortunately, Stephanie's older companion dog barks a lot to the point where I don't even hear it anymore. I just feel badly for this poor Alzheimer's dog. Am I planning on making more ambient music? Yeah, I mean, the ambient music I make, I make it for myself, because I love other people's ambient music, but a lot of times other people's ambient music is a bit too busy. You know, like if I listen to other people's ambient music, there'll be drums, there'll be vocals, there'll be weird sounds, or it'll only be a few minutes long. And when I meditate or do yoga or try to sleep, I really love ambient music that is very long and very minimal and very calm. So that's my approach to making ambient music, is to try and make music that's so undemanding. You know, so on the live ambient album, on long ambients, that's the goal, is making calm, minimal, very undemanding ambient music. My dream collaborator, well, I mean, luckily I got to collaborate with my dream collaborator, which was David Bowie. David and I were neighbors, we were really good friends, we went on tour together, and we had this amazing moment where we were in my apartment 20 years ago playing Heroes on acoustic guitar. And so the version of Heroes with Mindy Jones that's on the Reprise album is really inspired by that moment of playing Heroes on acoustic guitar in my apartment with David Bowie. Let's see. Have I tried avocado and sweet potatoes like Gregory Porter suggested on TV last week? To be honest, I have not, because I have not been to the grocery store since then. Excuse me. And if you know, avocados, if you buy an avocado and it's ripe, you kind of have to use it right away. So maybe later today, I'll go to the grocery store and I will buy avocados and sweet potato, and I will make Gregory Porter's suggested avocado sweet potato thing. What's all this stuff here? Congratulations on the Reprise of Natural Blues. Tour plans. Oh, so we sort of discussed touring maybe next year, 2022. I might try to tour then, but obviously for pandemic reasons, for logistical reasons, trying to tour this year is probably not going to happen. So hopefully next year. Saludos desde Argentina. Sí, mi familia es de Argentina. Excúsame porque no puedo hablar mucho en español, porque soy un gringo ignorante. Pero a mí me gusta mucho Argentina y... Oh, 30 seconds. Oh, okay, so I have to stop speaking my bad Spanish because I think the video is going to play in 20 seconds. So many questions coming through, but we only have now 9 seconds. So thank you. All I can say is thank you, everybody. Merci, gracias. And all the other languages I can't speak, and the live thing I think is done, and now the video is going to play.
So just hit the X. Yeah.
Okay, thanks everybody.